First of all, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in Brampton Residents Matters debate. So first, I will read quickly the rules for this debate. All candidates will pick their numbers for response, which they already did, I guess. Moderator will welcome to all candidates. So all candidates welcome in this debate. So we are so privileged to get this opportunity to take your views and your ideas to the Bramptonians. So there will be total 5 questions. During question answer periods, candidates will be given 2 minutes for their response. And the first question will be for first candidate who picked his or her number. Yeah. And the second question will be for number 2 candidate, I think, which is Frank, right? Yeah, okay. So during the answer, when 30 seconds left, there will be 1 bell, it will ring. So that means you can wrap up your answer in 30 seconds. So when it's about 2 to 3 seconds left, then 2 bells will ring. So then you have to wrap it up. During debate, there will be no cross questions and personal attacks, please. During debate, when one candidate is responding to a question, other candidates won't intervene. Only moderator will ask questions, so there won't be any questions from audience. Moderator will have full authority to control the debate. Any misconduct will lead to disqualify from debate. So after all 5 questions, moderator will ask closing remarks to all candidates. So all candidates will have 30 to 40 seconds each for their closing remarks. So we will begin with the introduction now. So we will start from...
Hello, my name is C. Jean Jamieson. The C is actually for Carolyn, but I've always gone by my middle name, Jean. I'm a long-standing resident of the city of Brampton. I was born and raised in Etobicoke in a little village called Islington Village, and we used to come back to our family vacation spot along the Credit River. In 1995, I moved to Brampton, and I've seen a lot of change from that quaint little village to quite a city. I have been involved in many organizations that for outreach purposes throughout Brampton. I've been actively engaged listening, sitting beside city councillors and advising through the city of Brampton since approximately 2002 when we purchased our second home in Brampton along the Credit River. I am actively involved in areas of youth. We run a pickup basketball mentorship program now on Friday nights, which is becoming quite successful. And I'm very much looking forward to having my presence at City Hall, my ideas felt throughout the public. My top goal is trying to get our community more connected. There's 53,000 people in our ward, and there's 1 councillor, and you need an army of community citizens to do that job. Thank you.
Okay. Good day, ladies and gentlemen of Wards 3 and 4. My name is Frank Raymond, and I come before you to ask for your vote on October 27th for City Councillor. But before I tell you a bit more about myself, I'd like to take a little bit of time to thank the outgoing councillor, Bob Callahan, who has spent decades of service to Brampton. The first time I met him, I was introduced to him as Brampton Bob. There are going to be some big shoes to fill, and hope we can do so. My name is Frank Raymond, as I said. I've been in Brampton 33 years this month. I chose Brampton when my twins were born because we checked from Oshawa to Oakville to find a place that we could live and raise our family. Brampton was where we chose. It was a perfect choice. We saw it from 1981 until now grow. All 3 of my children graduated high school here, went on to university and got university degrees. As far as volunteer work, I am with the Accessibility Committee. I've worked with the Shepherd's House, with the homeless. I was the hockey development for Brampton Candidates Girls Hockey. I was the president of Girls Hockey, started the first ever girls' school for women hockey player in Brampton. Was a very good success for the 2 years that I ran it. Other than that, like I said, I'm here to ask for your vote, and hopefully there's some bright future with Brampton with the new councillor. I thank you very much.
Okay, so next, Michael.
Thank you. We have reached a crossroads in Brampton, where this council and the next will set the roadmap for what Brampton will become for our children and future generations. Brampton's ability to sustain itself and thrive is on the line. Brampton's full build-out is around the corner, and we must tackle the major issues. 1, congestion. 2, infrastructure. 3, sprawl and growth. 4, employment. And 5, city revenues and spending. I am the only candidate that has been researching the issues, discussing them with you, and offering innovative and practical solutions. Hello, I'm Michael Freeman. I'm educated with degrees in economics and public policy, experienced in both the public and private sector, and I'm ready to work hard for you, the people of Brampton. I'm a realistic individual who has placed great thought and work into the ways of improving the city of Brampton for all of its great people. Let me apply my education, experience, and work ethic to keep property taxes in check, ensure Brampton plans for its future, and engages all citizens. I am the best choice for City Council. I am excited for the opportunity to serve you. I look forward to proving my ability to you, and I welcome the opportunity to debate with my peers. I was nominated to be your councillor in early January, and I've been working hard at this for the last 9 months, not the last few weeks. I live in the wards. I'm raising my family in Peel Village. If you want a candidate that understands government, finance, and will be able to hit the ground running, choose Michael Freeman on October 27th. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, Parminder Singh.
First of all, I would like to start by thanking Brampton residents, matter, group, volunteers for giving me the opportunity to introduce myself to my fellow Bramptonians. Hello, my name is Parminder Singh Grewal, and I'm here to ask you for your vote and support for my candidacy as I run for Brampton City Council for Wards 3 and 4. I have been a Brampton resident since 2000 and a longtime community activist engaged in Canadian politics for many years. I have been involved in nonprofits, youth groups, sports, community, and faith groups for many, many years. As a concerned resident of Brampton, I first decided to run for City Council in 2010. Where I came in up as a first runner-up to a long-time incumbent. Since that last election, Brampton has been on the map for all the wrong reasons, from corruption to a lack of accountability to misuse of our hard-earned tax dollars. My broad vision for Brampton includes bringing accountability and transparency at City Hall, building Brampton's economy, improving our public transit system and reducing gridlock, advocating for a university in Brampton, and freezing our property taxes. These coming 4 years will play an important role to where Brampton will stand over the next decade. Our city deserves better. That is why I'm running. On October 27th, please vote for me, Parminder Singh Grewal. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so now we will begin our question and answer session. So first question for Jean. It's for you. What is your vision for Brampton?
That I consider an easy question. I actually really like the live, work, and play. I just don't think that we're actually living up to that. I do believe that it is possible to have a community where you do live, you do have your employment, you don't have to be commuting outside of the city, and you enjoy where you live, and these are the places that you want to stay with your friends. This is the places where people want to come and be with you. I believe that that is only possible by connecting the community to city government through community leaders and really empowering them to empower their communities. We are just one of, as I said, the 53,000 people, and that in itself, you deserve more than just one. You need someone who's a community organizer, and that's me. I have been doing this, my colleague said campaigning only for the last few months. No, my whole life has been leading up to this sort of thing, I've been led forward because this is how I live my life. I moved into an area which was now today has excellent community structure. People help each other out when somebody is down or needs help. There's someone there for them. We help each other and we carry on from there. But it starts with the community and we have to build there. Thank you.
So same question, Frank.
Well, thank you. Yes, my vision for Brampton in the future. Brampton, I see it as a full-service community. It will be a center for business, a destination for travel, and a place for 500,000 people call home, or over 500,000 people will call home. We have a quality of life that is second to none. I want to keep it that way. I want Brampton to be a place that people want to live. This single concept will ensure that my decisions will be made for the best long-term benefit and success for our community. And one of those decisions we have to look at will be the LRT. We have to get it right the first time. It's going to be our future. I am definitely for the LRT. I have some concerns about its downtown projection, but I'm sure that once we get in council, we take a look and find out, if there's any other feasible idea that's not going to bankrupt Brampton. Other than that, I think it's time that Brampton is no longer a bedroom community. I think it's time that we have the industry and we bring the jobs to Brampton. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, so same, Michael.
Thank you. My vision is that I already know that Brampton is one of the greatest places in Ontario to live, work, and play. It's just that the rest of Ontario doesn't know it yet. With a little bit of help, with this council and the next council, we'll be able to make it that. We want to make Brampton sustainable for all of its residents, young and old. We want it to represent all of its citizens. We want greater civic engagement involving all Bramptonians in decisions that affect their communities. My vision for Brampton is one that we keep moving forward towards the future, one where we get our finances stabilized, one where we continue to build some of the greatest parks in the GTA. My vision for Brampton is one where we'll be, again, the darling of the GTA, where people will definitely want to move here, work here, open businesses here, and play here. Thank you.
Yes, Parminder Singh.
Well, thank you. My broad vision for Brampton, we are the 9th largest city in the country, and we are often referred to as a bedroom community. So what is my vision for Brampton? Well, I'll start by saying that we need to improve our quality of life. We need to improve our live-work ratio. And that can only be done if we bring in businesses into Brampton. Either it's small businesses, supporting small businesses, bringing in small, medium, large corporations into Brampton, protecting our employment lands, so we can have our revenue pools can be diversified. And then also improving our public transit system, whether it's supporting LRT. I'm a big supporter of LRT in Brampton, whether it's through the current studies and current path that's proposed by the Metrolinx and that they have done their studies on, or whether it's a different path. We have to look into that. So we will see what's more feasible, what works for Brampton, and what's better fit. So with that, as I said, we need to build our economy. We need to bring our small, medium, large corporations into Brampton. Now, with the second hospital in Brampton that's under construction, we will have the opportunity to work with health organizations to bring in their service and research facilities into Brampton. So the next council will have a lot on their plate to deal with. If we miss the opportunity, then that entire corridor for Peel Memorial Hospital, we will miss the opportunity to bring in those research facilities into Brampton. So as your candidate, as your next councillor, I will be working very hard to improve the quality of life, reducing gridlocks, building our economy, and also working with the youth. I mean, every time we look at the youth gets neglected. So that's my big plan, big vision, and reducing, as I said, freezing property taxes, because we only have one pool of revenue, and that's from the residential tax. So we got to diversify our revenue pool. Either it's getting our fair share from higher levels of government, and it also includes bringing in small, medium, large corporations into Brampton, and also introducing new services into Brampton. I'm not in favor of cutting services. So thank you.
Thank you, candidates. So we are moving towards our second question. So second question will start from Frank. So Frank, how will you ensure that property taxes are fully utilized?
Oh, thank you for the question. It is a very good question, and one that has been on my mind and been one of my talking points for a long time. One of the things that I want to do with property taxes is to freeze all seniors and people with disabilities that are the main taxpayers in the house. Far too often, taxes go up more than pensions do. Other things go up more than pensions do. We would like to keep our seniors in our homes as long as we can. If we can freeze their tax, I'm not saying give them free tax, I'm saying freeze it at the rate it is now. When they sell or otherwise dispose of the house, the tax rate will go back up to market value. I think that as far as property tax on the rest of us, that fair market value should be implemented and we should pay our fair tax. We get great service here. The citizens in Brampton should be proud of the city workers that we have and the stuff that we have going on. And to pay for that, we need taxes. So, like I said, for the rest of us, fair market value taxes is the way to go. It's going to hurt some of us. I know it's going to hurt me, but I really believe it's the way to go to sustain the lifestyle that we've tried to attain here in Brampton. Thank you.
Okay, so same question for Michael.
For property taxes, we do pay some of the highest property taxes in the GTA. And in the region, we pay the highest property tax. We pay quite a bit more than they do in Mississauga. We got to ask ourselves, why is this the case? The case is simple. There's a lot of wasteful spending at City Hall. We have to get that under control. I've gone through the budget, and there's literally tens of millions of dollars in savings that can be done. Not with cutting programs, but with cost savings of wasteful spending. If you look at the Southwest Quadrant renewal, we're spending almost $250 million on that, and we're financing it at a rate of almost 8%. This is ridiculous to have such a bad financing deal when we have a AAA credit rating here in Brampton. If we had a closer to a prime rate, we'd be saving millions of dollars, between $3 and $5 million a year for the next 25 years. We can't do anything about that now. We're locked into that. But if I'm on council, and if I'm part of the budgetary committee, you can guarantee that these are the kind of deals that I will not accept for the people of Brampton. Something that Frank touched upon. Our property taxes are exceeding inflation. They are starting to price people on fixed incomes out of their homes. This should not be the case in any city. I am proposing a property tax freeze. I'm not saying I can do it in my first year. I'm only one council candidate, but I will work to fight for it for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Parminder?
Yes, as I just said in my prior answer, that I am in favor of freezing property taxes. Why our taxes are going up? Because of the misspending at the City Hall. Whether it's the Southwest Quadrant expansion of the City Hall, or whether we're looking at another $28.5 million lawsuit against the city, or another $1 million that was paid to one of the contractors wrongly announcing a contract a few years ago. There are a lot of misspendings, like if you look, for example, in Ward 4, there's a Chinguzi Road. A couple of years ago, they added a lane, and we paid a lot of fees for moving the hydro poles and other services. And now 2 years later, we're digging up the same road again. We're adding 2 more lanes. We're wasting money. Again, the hydro poles are being moved. Everything's being redone. So we're wasting money. We got to stop wasting money. We need to know what the master plan is. We need to know what we're doing in that area in 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road. So we build for future, not just for what we have on hand. So we got to stop wasting our money. We got to stop wasting the taxpayers' hard-earned money, and we need to be accountable, transparent, so Bramptonians will know where the money is being spent. Not just the wasteful money, but also council, where the council spends money, the senior staff spends money, managers. I mean, why do all of these people have to have city credit cards, first of all? City of Brampton is how I see it is it's a corporation. In a corporation, you have employees. If employees have expenses, they do their expenses on their own cards, and then they bill back to the corporation. If those are legitimate, then they get reimbursed. As I said, we need to diversify our revenue pool, whether it's getting fair share from higher levels of government, whether it's bringing in small, medium, large corporations into Brampton so we can get our business taxes in, so we can freeze our property taxes and not cut any services, actually introduce more services. That's what I'm proposing, and that's what I stand for.
Repeat the question. We were talking about fully utilizing our tax dollars. I certainly agree with many of my colleagues here, but I think you have to stick to the question. I believe that we're doing business at City Hall the same way as many, many corporations are doing it today. In my line of work, I'm in finance. We have created a complex system. I'm going to blame a few of the lawyers. Forgive me if there's any in the room. Starting with the Tim Hortons cup of coffee. We are now in a defensive mode through all levels of government and in many, many businesses. That creates a work environment that is boxed, compartmentalized, and doesn't talk to other layers of business. To say, if you were going to make a change over in A, you have to understand what the implications are going to be over in B. There is actually a very, very great speaker, I think, Yves Moreau. You can look it up. He has a talk at 6 Rules for Simplicity in Corporations. He states, and I absolutely think it's correct, we tend to continue with the same models that we've had in the past. And with computer and technology, things have changed. We are not able to run corporations with these hard rule boxes and these soft, I'll try to treat you a little bit nice methods. We need change, and we need a change that empowers the good people, and there is good people at City Hall, to actually use the reasonable judgment. That is going by the wayside. I would like to empower all and have them come back and be accountable for their actions, and it is possible. That is possible by creating loops whereby if you do a job, you will then maybe 2 years be responsible for the job that is going to land on that person's plate. I've got lots more to say. I don't have time.
We know snow season is coming in. So after snowstorm cleanup, heavy snow left at the end of driveways. Do you have any plans in your agenda to solve this issue?
Yes, thank you. This is an issue that I've heard from numerous citizens, especially the elderly. It's just not feasible to clear the end of your driveway after it's been filled in by a snowplow. And many streets aren't plowed until well after a snowstorm, making the snow heavier and even more difficult to move. My hopefully predecessor, the one that we're all here trying to replace, Bob Callahan, fought for many years to have windrow plowing for the people of Brampton. Other municipalities do it. That is where there's an extra blade that clears the bottom part of the driveway. That's the hardest part to shovel. And I know for most people in here, the most heartbreaking thing is after you clear your driveway, then the snowplow comes and you got to go out again. And that's the part that takes longer than everything else. So in my plan, I definitely want to continue the fight that Councillor Callahan has been doing for many years and promote that we will clear the windrows for the people of Brampton, especially for those of the elderly and the disabled who aren't able to clear these. Because I know that even myself, as a relatively young, able-bodied man, I hate clearing that snow. So that is my promise to you.
Thank you. Parminder?
Well, I'll start by saying this, that I made this point during Rogers' debate too, that I will be an advocate for removing windrows. Windrows are when a snowplow comes in and he blocks your driveway. I know Bob Callahan, he advocated for this for many, many years and had no success. He tried hard from what I know. And what I can promise you that I will be working with my colleagues on the council with your support on October 27th when I get elected. I will be working not just with wards 3 and 4, but I will be working with all council members with an open mind, get them onto the same page, because at the end of the day, you need a majority. You need a majority that rules, that says, we're doing this. We're the 9th largest city in Canada. We need to get our fair share of funding. All of these services cost money, but we, as I said before, and I'm saying it over and over again, we need to diversify our income, source of income. Whether it's bringing in businesses, getting our fair share from higher levels of government, we currently are not getting our fair share, whether it's for healthcare, education, services, we are not getting our fair share from higher levels of government. If we get our fair share from the higher levels of government, and then we diversify our revenue pool, we will have the income, we will have the income to introduce the service in Brampton that I'm heavily in favor of having this service introduced in Brampton. Ward 3 and 4, we have a lot of seniors in wards 3 and 4. And one of the benefits that they had before that has been cut back is the property tax rebate for seniors in Brampton that was taken away a couple of years ago. So I met with so many seniors during my canvass at doors, and I have assured them that if I get elected on October 27th, I will be working hard to bring that rebate back so they can have some of these services hired for their clearing their driveway, and also will work hard to bring the windrow clearing into Brampton.
Thank you. G.
Thank you very much. I don't know where to start with this one. There's a number of things going on here. This is something that I have been advising over and over at City Hall. It comes up with our advisory committee. It was actually, right now, although I don't think they've done enough of it yet, it was actually my bring forward was getting the windrows back onto the platform. My idea is simply this, is you have to, first of all, understand a bit of the preamble that goes behind it. It's not as simple as what my colleagues here are saying. There are legalities, there are privacy issues, there are so many issues that are in the way of letting us just say once the snowplow goes by, then we go and we find the people and we dig out their driveways. It becomes a complex nightmare, actually, and city staff have tried. What they're trying now is actually from me is to get engage the citizens of Brampton, particularly the youth. They need their volunteer hours to get them involved in their community nodes to identify those people that they can help out as needed. We also, there was money that was taken away from seniors in past, and I didn't have anything to do with that, but there is money available. It's not a lot. I certainly think it should be a bit more for those that have needs, accessibility needs. I think it's $295. I could be wrong, maybe $250. Apply at the City Hall. It's right there for you. You can get it. Thank you.
Frank?
Well, I have to agree with pretty much everything she said. As I sit on the Accessibility Committee with Jean, for 4 years now, this windrow situation has been on our future agenda. And up until recently, every time it has been approached or brought up, we're basically told it's going to cost too much money, it's impractical, and we're not going to do it. But our concern was with the disabled and the seniors, that we felt that something must be done with them. I'm not sure if the youth volunteer organizations would work. I think it's a good idea to try. But we do have $250 because I've applied for it last year. I know it works. I've had 4 back surgeries. I can't shovel anything. And I have a young man that comes and took care of my driveway and the windrow problem. And at the end of the year, he gave me a receipt. I went down to City Hall, and they reimbursed me. So there is some things to do to correct this. Is it enough? No. But I'm sure with all the ideas that are coming forward, even from our group, that there's going to be something to be able to done in the next couple of years. We're going to be moving forward on this. I've seen little old ladies out there trying to shovel. We can't have this. You know, and all it's going to take is how many people are going to drop with serious heart attacks or other problems before the city of Brampton decides that maybe we should be doing something. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. So we are moving towards our 4th question, which we'll start from Parminder Singh. How would you manage taxpayers' money more efficiently?
Well, first of all, thank you for the question, and I think I answered that already a couple of times, that we got to stop the misspending at City Hall. First of all, we need to be more accountable. We need to have a better plan. We need to look at a long-run plan. We can't just say this is what we need today. And as I said, Chinkuzi Road is a great example when they added a 1-lane a few years ago, and then we're digging up the same road. That's a waste of money. So we got to stop wasting taxpayers' money. And then we got to be very wise in terms of where we're spending and how we're spending the money, because it's a hard-earned money at the end of the day. And the last thing we want is getting into the lawsuits and giving away compensations to other builders and vendors. So my big plan for saving money, or how will I save the money, is stop the mismanagement of taxpayers' money, have a longer, clear vision of what we're doing in those neighborhoods, either with the roads or constructions or facilities that we are building. So we build it for the future growth, not just for what we have today. So city have to have a long-term plan. It can't be just a 1-year plan or 2-year plan. We have to have a 5, 10, 15, 20-year plan. We have to know what's coming into the neighborhoods. If you don't know what's coming into the neighborhoods, into the city 10 years down the road, I think we're not planning properly. So that's how I'm proposing we have to have a long-term plan. We have to stick to the plan, and the money we spend, it has to be according to the plan, so we're not wasting money into the same project over and over and over again. And also, you all heard about that the $600 million contracts go missing, and we suddenly find it. And now there's an inflation cost to it. They no longer cost $600 million. It's going to cost a lot more. So we need to be accountable. Simply be accountable, be responsible, and it's taxpayers' money. I mean, they work hard to earn this money, so we need to respect our taxpayers. Thank you.
Jean?
I've got a lot to say on this. Thank you for the question. My understanding is one piece of it is under the Municipal Act, we were told there actually is no real rule that says that City Council has to be checked for their spending. And there is at levels of provincial and federal government. That, I think, is a voluntary thing that I certainly do support. It just makes sense. You have to, when you buy something, unless I'm going to be the person that is looking through each and every one of the spending rules, which are huge and vast, when you buy something, it should be submitted, or at the end of the month, it happens in all businesses, it should be reviewed, and if there's things that don't comply, then it goes take off your paycheck. That just makes sense. I also have some big visions on this, though, and how to again empower community groups. I think there's a lot of things that they actually could be doing, and a concept that I don't have enough time to talk about here. But currency is just something we make up, and you know what? Brampton can have one also. If you believe in something, it has value. And if somebody said to you that you will have value in 10 years in your community group if you do this, 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 and this, you'll believe in that. And that will come back to your community. What those key criteria are, we can set this. And it is possible to actually create money. Thank you.
Frank?
Yes. There's been a lot of good ideas by my fellow candidates. One of the things that was touched on before was no credit cards. I think that there is no reason why the City Hall or any of the councillors should have credit cards. In several other communities around the province, when there is travel involved, they get the clerk's office to do it, and everything is done. Anything else that they use, they want to be run through City Hall, they put on their own credit cards and then submit a bill. If it's acceptable, they get paid back. If it's not, they don't. We have to look and make sure that we get our needs and our wants. We need a lot of things, but Brampton seems to go for what we want. We want pretty things, and we want to be like Mississauga. No, we don't. We don't want to be a big bedroom community. Now, I agree with Perminder. We do need a 25-year plan that has to be revisited often and tweaked as we grow. We should all work hard to be accountable, like we were hired to be. I hear all the time, we're going to be accountable, we're going to be accountable. Well, everybody that's been elected in the last 100 years, we elected them expecting them to be accountable. So I think that's time that we are. The other little thing that could save a bit of money, it's not a lot, but it's a start. We have no reason for, if I'm a councillor, to use my credit card, my taxpayers' dollars, to put any charity, they use it all the time. They get so much money they can spend on charities. Well, what if you don't want this charity? What if you are against this charity? Why should I be allowed to use your tax dollars? Other than that, I think we should check and double check before spending anybody's tax money. And from there, we should be looking, like I said, looking into the future and making sure we grow smart, not just fast. Thank you.
Yes. Michael?
Thank you. The original question was, how do we manage taxpayers' money efficiently?
Yep.
So I'll tell you how we're going to manage it efficiently for this term, not in 25 years. And I'm going to talk about millions of dollars, not hundreds or thousands of dollars that's being spent on credit cards. There are bigger issues out there. This is not what's causing our taxes to go up. First, we need to have departments talk to each other. There's a lot of siloed thinking across Brampton. It takes a lot of red tape to get something done, to get permits. There's huge delays. These delays take up a lot of time in City Hall, and it costs a lot of money in wages and time for projects to get completed. Two, we have to post all of the expenses through all of the departments, itemized, so that it's open for scrutiny for all of Brampton to see. If we're doing backroom deals or closed room deals or blind bids, we shouldn't be doing them. We should be about open government. If we're doing this, we're not getting the best value for the taxpayer, because if we were, it would be open and out there for everybody to see in the first place. Two, we need to know, next we need to know where the money's coming from and actually going. We're not a small town anymore. We're a big city. We can't be using favoritism and nepotism to give out city contracts. Just about everything that the city buys, we're paying too much for. There's a preferred vendors list. Lots of municipalities use them, but we should look at this. Why are we not putting more stuff out to tender? Why is it that everything we're paying seems to be so much? So when you go through this, everything that the city buys on a $500 million operating budget, we're talking millions and millions and millions of dollars here. We're not talking about thousands of dollars on a credit card. This is where we should be looking for cost savings. This is where the taxpayers' money is going. If you spread out all of the council spending and you just eliminated it, we'd only be saving, what, $5, $10 per taxpayer? No, I'm talking about actually hundreds of dollars per taxpayer. This is where the problems are.
Thank you. So our last question, again from Jean. So what developments do you plan for Brampton?
What developments do we plan for Brampton? I actually think we need to curb development. So at this period in time, I think we've developed and developed and developed. I think the taxpayers, frankly, are tired of so much. The more you talk with citizens, the more you hear recurring over and over and over again, change too fast. It's actually hurtful. It's actually hurtful, particularly to those that change has happened too rapidly. So in terms of developments that are planned, there is already lots in the works. I am I'm an annoyance actually to City Hall saying, show us what is coming up the pipeline. I want it to be visualized for all of city staff to see from one end of the departments to the other end of departments, so they can all put their 2 cents forward and say, oh, I need to do something over there. It's being developed at Ken Giles. So we need to do something from our department, so let's get involved in that. There is a lot already planned. There's already been a lot of money spent. I think we are already in a hole, and we have to come up with money. Our last council seems to have ended up with a situation with the development of City Hall whereby they're not quite paid for. I actually believe that there is a fund for this money. I believe it takes some legal ingenuity to get it, and I know how to do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Frank?
Yes, again, I have to agree with Jean. I think the development needs to slow down here in Brampton, and we need to develop smart, not just fast for quick dollars. I've heard that it takes several years sometimes to get permits in before a planned community or development can go through. In this time, I'd like to see a lot more public consultation. I'd like to see what the neighbors have to say, not just get the notification that this is what's going on, put on a fence, and then the 1 or 2 of us that are concerned phone in, and the rest of the silent majority stay home and say nothing, but we're still upset. As far as development, I would like to see, forget the second hospital. It's a health service center. It should be a hospital, but by the time it is built, we should be in planning and developing of the third hospital. We also would like to bring in, or should bring in, everybody's been talking about, a university. We can do this and a hospital at the same time if we invite somebody like McMaster to come in and open it up as a teaching hospital. And with a teaching hospital, it also brings other jobs and other businesses that will come into the community as well, which is part of the other problem I have with the development of Brampton. We're developing really fast, and we're educating our children, and we're sending them off to university, and they're not coming home. They're getting university degrees. In order to work in their field, they have to work elsewhere. We have to develop Brampton so that there's a place for them to be. This is no longer, should no longer be a bedroom community. I was up at 5 o'clock this morning, driving down the 410 in bumper-to-bumper traffic, right? Because everybody's leaving at that early all morning to go to Toronto, go to Mississauga, go elsewhere to work. They should be coming the other way. And the development is crucial to that, and the LRT is part of that. We should be looking into this and making it a reality because it's our future for the next 10 to 20 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Michael?
Thank you. One of the most important things about development that I've been saying for quite a long time now is that we are converting too many of our employment lands over to residential, and we're doing this too fast. If we continue on this pathway, we're going to have 1 million Bramptonians here living, but with no place for anybody to work, and we're just going to keep clogging the roads with more traffic, clogging the buses with more people, as we have to travel outside of the city in order to go for our jobs. We need more jobs here in Brampton, and we need to reserve more land for development of employment lands. When we build new residential communities, and Brampton is starting to run out of land to develop, we need to follow new urbanist principles. We need transit-oriented development. The Heritage Heights, it's going to be a massive development that's near Mount Pleasant Village, and it has great chances for linkages to the GO train there and proper transit-oriented development. We can promote complete streets. We can have streets that are friendly for everybody from the ages to 8 to 80, that promote cycling, active transportation, transit uses, walking. People can walk to the corner store if they so choose. These are the kind of development that's sustainable in the long term, with parks, with schools nearby, with more walking communities. I'm a member of the Brampton School Traffic Safety Council, and we see so many parents who are driving their children to school every day, even on the nicest days. We need to get more children out there walking, cycling. We've done pilot projects, but there's so much more that can be done in our communities. And the development and the permits start at City Hall, and we need to think about how we want the future of Brampton to look for our children, because they're the ones who are going to grow up and inherit what we have left them. Thank you.
Yes, Parminder?
Well, I will start by saying that the Economic Development Department at City of Brampton, their report says that over 65% of working Bramptonians work outside of Brampton. And I believe that's wrong, because that's depleting our quality of life. It's not a very good live-work ratio in Brampton. So I said this during Roger's debate too, and I'm saying it here again. We must protect our employment lands. We must protect our employment lands if we're serious about bringing in small, medium, large corporations into Brampton, if we're serious about building our economy, if we're serious about bringing jobs into Brampton, if we are actually serious about improving our live-work ratio and quality of life in Brampton. To do that, number two, we also need to bring a university into Brampton. Our talent is actually running out of Brampton, going out of Brampton to other municipalities and regions, and that's where the other corporations are. When the youth goes into these municipalities and regions, they tend to settle down because that's where the jobs are. If we have the corporations coming into Brampton, we have a university in Brampton, talent will not be driving out of Brampton, it will be driving into Brampton, and that's where the businesses will be choosing to be. Number three, it also increases our revenue pool. It diversifies our revenue pool when we have businesses coming into Brampton. Also, with Appeal Memorial Hospital, as I said before, we have a great opportunity to work with healthcare organizations to bring in service and research facilities into Brampton. What will that do is we have the opportunity to become the hub of health and science research in Brampton. So we need to capitalize on these opportunities. So that's what I'm proposing, and the other thing that our downtown core, we need to revitalize our downtown development. After dark hours, around 6, 7 o'clock, if you go into a Brampton downtown, it's almost like a ghost town. You don't see people on streets. We need to bring people into Brampton downtown. A vibrant and downtown is a good sign for a city. So that's what I propose, and that's what I will be standing for. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. So now time for closing remarks. We'll start from Frank. So you all will have 1 minute for closing remarks.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard a lot of great ideas. Hopefully, some of my ideas will stick with others, and several of their ideas have stuck with me. My name is Frank Raymond. My family and I have lived in Brampton for over 33 years. I've watched it grow into a shining example of multiculturalism that it is today. My wife and I did not settle in Brampton by happenstance. Only after detailed comparison did we choose Brampton. It was our choice then, and it remains our choice today. Because of the fantastic quality of life in Brampton is my home and a city to be proud of. All too often in the past, the cost of running a successful campaign has made it difficult for people to really get involved in the political process. Things like this debate that's going out on YouTube, going out on Facebook, going out in several different media outlets, is one way to make sure that everybody can have their say, everybody's voice can get out there. And on October 27th, please vote, and vote for Frank Raymond for Wards 3 and 4. Thank you.
Yes, Michael.
First, I would like to thank Brampton Residents Matter for putting this on and allowing us the opportunity to talk to you today. Let us not follow blindly the many before us who have entered politics for the wrong reasons and have not taken seriously the consequences of their decision and the significance of their position. Let us set a higher standard for Brampton. After all, we are a growing city and have opportunities for improvement. This improvement can be achieved, but it requires a leader with vision, integrity, honesty, and education. All Bramptonians have a right to expect ethical behavior from their leaders. Too many candidates have forgotten that we are running to serve you, the people of Brampton. My pledge to you is that I will fight for what is in your best interests. I will never forget who I work for, the 100,000 constituents in Brampton Wards 3 and 4. On October 27th, choose for the future of Brampton. Vote for change. Vote Michael Freeman. Thank you.
Thank you. Parminder Singh.
First of all, once again, I would like to thank again the Brampton Residents Matter group and all the volunteers involved, giving me the opportunity to introduce myself to my fellow Bramptonians. I truly believe that accountability, transparency, representation, and credible leadership are important for the future of strong and vibrant Brampton. I want my Brampton to be economically strong and thriving city full of opportunities. I want my Brampton to be a moving city for those who rely on cars and those who use public transit. Together, we can improve the quality of life in Brampton and make this the best city ever. I'm here to be your voice and your representative at Brampton City Hall for Wards 3 and 4 as your city councillor. On October 27th, vote for me, Parminder Singh Grewal. Thank you.
Thank you. Jean?
Yes, thank you very much. And Brampton Residents Matters. You are also another community node that needs to be uplifted. My name is C. Jean Jameson, and I hope you vote C on October 27th. My whole campaign rests upon three principles. One is my long-standing and proven integrity within the city of Brampton. Two, my responsive representation. I've been a financial councillor for many, many years, since 1995 here in Brampton, and I'm already in a position of trust. When somebody needs something, I get back to them. Third principle is what I call reducing the negative net benefit. Essentially what that means, I'm going to say this again, is we continually in government, when we have a problem with one side and another side, back office and front office, we create a middle office, and we end up with a problem between back, middle, front. This is an ongoing situation, and it needs to be stopped. I am running for City Council because I am the best candidate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. So on behalf of Brampton Residents Matter, we wish you all best of luck for your campaign. And as this platform, we will do our best to promote you guys through different media channels, and we will promote your ideas and your vision to the Bramptonians. So let's work together for a better Brampton. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oops.
Take a picture?
Yeah, we should both get together for a photo.